I joined the university LGBT society at about the time that I started coming out as trans, and did not talk about my sexual orientation because there was the bisexual, and I saw what it was like for the bisexual, and it wasn't worth having that conversation, you know. So I had okay, there needs to be something for bisexual people, and went away, volunteered with a youth project in Cardiff for a bit, built up some skills, came back, walked into the old Lesbian and Gay Centre on Sydney Street in, gosh, December 1994. I'd done a few little bits of volunteering elsewhere, but with a, right, there needs to be a bisexual thing, I'm going to find out if there is any space and we can make a bisexual group happen. And fortunately, there was a little poster on the wall at the reception desk saying, new group for bisexual people just formed by Foria. Meets first Tuesday of every month. I was like, yes, it exists, there are other bisexuals, and they've thought of a name, which is, these days for Google optimization, you just call anything, you know, Manchester Bisexual Group, but in those days it was about having creative, memorable, catchy names for things, and so, there's a name, there are some others. So that gave me some, you know, some more allies, some people to bitch about these things with. And through that, we wound up a few years later doing a very small run of bisexual safer sex packs, which were, I wish I could find them. I was rummaging in my big crates of old stuff because I try not to throw anything away, which is terrible, a hoarding trait that I got from my mum. But they were safe for bisexual and sexy, they had fruit on the front, and they were little things that were just really a folded sheet of A4 with some very sketchy information about safer sex, because we weren't trained or anything. It was more pointing people at other bisexual resources that were out there, and in them you got a regular condom, a flavoured condom, a sachet of lube, and a stick of chewing gum, because quite often if you are hoping to have sex with someone, then oh god, what have I eaten and drunk this evening, I need to take this off because then they might kiss me. Or, oh gosh, I've just done interesting things with someone and I could really do with getting the taste out of my mouth before I go and talk to my mum or whatever. So that seemed like a good extra thing to put in there. You know, we knew of the existence of dental dams, but we also knew places that we could kind of like scab some condoms, but getting hold of dental dams is still now kind of gold dust in comparison, and certainly back then it was kind of like, right, okay, so if we found several £100, how much are we doing this for? We've got about a £5. Yeah, let's not have dental dams, that's a compromise we'll just have to make. They also, I remember that we'd got, I think off the back of the fact that I was really into zine culture, when you buy comics, they come in little plastic bags that come like 10 inches by 7 inches or so. And we'd found where you could buy those in bulk really cheap, so they came in one of those so that all the bits didn't fall out all over the place. But that was the only kind of like actually bisexual inclusive, bisexual representing sort of resource that I saw in the 90s. There was, you know, lots of, I think kind of, we would perhaps a little bit dry humour, cynically joke about it as, well, it's very simple, if you're bisexual you're meant to get the straight leaflet and the gay leaflet and read them both and just kind of assemble all of that information into one in your mind. Which to me seems just such a stupid idea of how to do sex education and to impart those kinds of messages, because, well, for a start, a lot of people will suddenly discover that, oh, there is this person and I'm really excited about them and I'm kind of drunk and let's go with this, and have not received any kind of safer sex messages or anything like that because it's not the gender that they were expecting to do things with.